everybody. Gary B. here from BikeRadar.com. We're at the Seattle Classic 2009. We happen to catch Chris from Niner, and Chris is going to show us something very special. They have a new full suspension bike. They've beefed up quite a bit, and Chris is going to walk us through some of the specifics. So, Chris, thanks for meeting with us.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. This is our new RIP 9 for 2009. The RIP 9's been around for 2.5 years. It's one of our absolute best-selling bikes. It's a 4.5-inch travel rear bike that can be used with a 4 or 5-inch travel fork. It's used for anything from cross-country, enduro, to some small all-mountain use. So far, by far the best-selling bike we've had. We decided last year to do a complete revamp on the bike from front to back. And so we started with a clean sheet of paper, and we didn't really use any of the design cues or things that we had from the other bikes, but things we've learned over time. One of the big major improvements of the bike is the head tube. We've gone to a tapered head tube, and that means that it goes from 1 1/8 to 1.5. It massively increases the head tube strength and also the stiffness of the front end when you're cornering and you're going downhill. It makes a lot of sense on a 29-inch wheel bike because the head tubes technically have to be a little shorter on a 29-inch wheel bike because the front end's being jacked up 1.5 inches because of the wheel size. So your handlebar height starts getting a little unreasonable on the small and the medium sizes. So by using we use an integrated head tube. It allows us to have a larger head tube for more areas to disperse the energy. We've also changed all the tubing. We've gone to hydroform tubing on the top tube and the down tube. We've using new CAD software and FEA modeling. We have a new PhD full-time mechanical engineer on staff, so we've been able to actually do wire drawings of the bike in a computer and basically twist the bike with different forces and see where the bike is weak and where the bike is strong, and manipulating the tubing in the computer, which helps shorten the design phase by almost 8 months. Before, we would have to build a bike, break it, build another bike and break it, and do a lot of trial and error, and this way we get really close to the final design right out of the box. Saved us a lot of time and a lot of money on the design. A lot of things, one of the big philosophies we have is less parts, there's less problems. The main rocker, the upper rocker arm, was 7 pieces before. We've reduced that down to 1 piece. It's a forged unit that we then weld together. So it's very strong and very light. We also were able to increase the bearing diameter on all the bearing journals, one that allows when the suspension's under full cycle, it allows the bearings to move, the suspension to move smoothly. Larger bearings allow the system to move smoothly under a lot of load. Also, because we were able to increase the interior diameter of the hole, we were able to use aluminum hardware and still have the same strength. The older bike had steel hardware, and we saved weight there. On the bottom bracket side, again, that piece was under the bottom bracket link was 6 pieces. We've reduced it down to 1-piece forged unit, and again, we've gone to aluminum hardware to save weight. We also have a huge box shelf forged bottom bracket that the down tube welds to, which greatly stiffens up the bottom bracket. So again, pedaling efficiency is a big thing for us, and making sure that the power that you put on the pedal gets to the back wheel. Our CVA, our constant variable arc suspension system, is again on this bike. One of the main features of constant variable arc is that the instant center, what you would call the instant center of the bike, is forward of the chain rings. That allows you to use all 3 chain rings. A lot of other suspension systems rely heavily that you be in the 32 middle chain ring for the suspension system to cycle properly under braking and under pedaling loads. Our suspension system reacts the same whether it's in the small ring, large ring, or the middle ring, which is, I think, a huge benefit for cross-country riders and for all mountain riders, because you're pedaling the bike quite a bit and you don't always want to be in the middle chain ring in all circumstances for your suspension to work properly. In the rear of the bike, we've gone to a forged rear dropout and a forged hooded dropout, which adds for a lot of stiffness to the rear end of the bike. We've also gone to a modular dropout system. So what that means is on the right and left side, both dropouts can be taken out, and we have different inserts you can put in. So we can run a roll-off hub, 12mm through axle, a Maxell system, or as you can see on this bike, a standard quick release. The rear end is a 135 spacing. It'll accept anywhere from a 6, 8, or 9-inch rotor. The The rear end has 4.5 inches of travel, which we feel equates to 5.5 inches of travel on a 26-inch bike. So if you're moving from a 26-inch bike up to a 29-inch bike, what you can only do is subtract an inch of whatever travel you have on your current bike and then get a 29er with that amount of travel, and you'll find that you'll easily be able to ride all the trails that you're doing and all the tricky stuff with a less amount of travel and less weight.
Now, when is this new model going to be available?
This model is now available. We just started shipping about 30 days ago. The response has been huge. Our first 2 production runs have been completely sold out, so we expect to have more bikes in stock and in the stores in May.
Chris, thank you very much. And folks, thank you so much for watching. This is Gary B. from Bike Radar signing off from the Seattle Classic 2009.